What up, folks? What it do, man? Welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Yeah, with your boy, Mike Goodwin, the bowtie comedian, aka Gabby's daddy. So many times, people will call me that, and I don't think they try to say it as a slight, but I do think people try to be funny. Leave it to the professional. Leave the funny to the professionals, people. Well, y'all know how we kick it off every episode. On the road again. On the road again. I just got off the road again. I'm perpetually on the road. That's a good thing. People ask me, do I get tired? Like, nobody asks me. No, I can say nobody because that's not right. That's not true. But it's interesting when people are having conversations with you about things. It can skew negative. Very weird. And maybe that's our fallen nature of just the human experience. Here's the example. Someone will say, hey, man, how's the tour going? And I don't think anybody's ever coming from a place of malice. Man, how's the tour going? I see you got all the, man, I see the stuff online. Man, congratulations. And I'm like, oh, man, it's going great. We're adding dates. Yada, yada, yada. You know the stuff. And then they're like, hey, man, you get tired of it yet? Getting tired of the travel? No. I'm not getting tired of the travel. That's how I get to the shows. Is I travel. Now there is a human element of, yeah, man, who wants to go through TSA and sit on a flight and get a rental? Yeah, like I'm not tired of it. It comes with the territory. I go to the gym. I gotta do cardio. My cardio is pretty simple. I typically do 20 minutes on the Stairmaster. Level 4. Like I'm not even out here strenuously doing cardio, much unlike how I've done cardio in the past. My typical cardio situation, I would run 30 minutes, like out in the streets, in the neighborhood. But I'm never looking at the Stairmaster like, man, I'm so tired of doing cardio. Like, if I want to achieve my goals and what I'm trying to make happen, I got to get on the treadmill. It's called discipline, people. Well, one of our disciplines, my wife and I, we're part of a business community. And I've talked about this, I'm sure, before, but there's a group. I'm in a mastermind, a business mastermind with, I can't even give you the numbers now because the mastermind has grown and grown and grown. But traffic, sales, and profit, TSP, game plan. That's how we kick off January. We have a January event. It's game plan. Then we have TSP Live. That's in June. I act a little confused because I'm like June, July. I'm not really sure. And then I was talking to the founder. He was like, hey, man, it's always been in June. And I'm like, well, it wasn't in July one time. Like the J months get a little tricky for me. And not because I don't know that January, June, and July are where they are on the calendar. It's just that they all have J's. There any other month that have a similar August and April? We got August and April. I think it's 3. I think when you do January, June, July, it's 3 J's. So we got August and April. No more F's. No Marches. No S. No D's. Yeah, that the J's, man, they throw me off. It's a lot of J's out here. Is that January? Is it June, July? Especially June, July. Like they sitting right next to each other. They neighbors. But TSP Live is in June, 6 months. That's really should signal it for me. TSP Live happens in June, 6 months. So you start off the year with TSP game plan that kind of sets your intentions, your goals for the years, and that's just what we did. We just did that, and it was incredible. It's always great. It's always great, but I came with a different perspective. I came with a different intention, and I think that I'm walking away with some more clarity, some more understanding of what I need to do to forge a very successful business, and to move from being a 6-figure business to being a 7-figure business, making my first $1 million. That's kind of where we're looking at. That's the next 5 years, getting that $1 million down, right? But this year we had different speakers. We had Percy Miller, known to many people as Master P. Don Peebles, one of the first Black real estate developers. Incredible conversation. Dr. Boyce Watkins, my wife, Rosalind Goodwin, did a wonderful presentation on licensing products. Dr. Erica Jordan Thomas she did a great session on mastering CEO leadership, becoming the CEO everyone wants to work for and no employee wants to leave. Man, matter of fact, one of the podcast episodes, motivation in the future, is something I heard in that presentation. And I spoke on a panel, 6-figure success panel, was me and 2 other mastermind members, and we talked about the challenges that the 6-figure businesses are up against. And it was great. I have my business philosophies and things that I have experienced on my journey, and I think it was very well received, and I'm excited about these next 6 months, especially this month. I've even, got a little better clarity around just my content. I was just watching something that I shot for YouTube, and it was a reminder for me, like I need to, as much as I'm growing my business and getting leads and marketing and getting traffic and making sales and making high ticket offers and low ticket offers and considering doing challenges and webinars, all the things, right? I have to make sure that my content on stage is bulletproof, that I'm showing up with great material. When I get on that stage for that hour, that 45 minutes to an hour that I'm spending with an audience, I want them to walk away like, man, that was outstanding, dynamic, dynamite, all the things. And so I've made a recommitment. I mean, I'm committed, but really getting back to the basics. My word for the year last year was resurgence, and now this year's is action. And I think that the steps that I'll be taking, the actions that I will be implementing, will have me moving in the direction that I desire to for my business. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's get to the best advice ever. It was something I heard at the conference, something that resonated with me in probably a way that I didn't feel very good about. I kind of struggled when this question was posed. And so I said, man, this would be great to talk about on the podcast and to give as one of the best advice ever suggestions or insights. So what happened at the conference, Lamar Tyler, who is the CEO and founder of Traffic Sales and Profit, he was doing a presentation, and in the presentation, he said, list out, your top five accomplishments, successes for 2023. And I struggled. I had a very difficult time. I really, I put down, like, kicked off the Big Dad Energy Tour. That was one. And then I kind of was thinking, I was like, what else I do? 2023. I was on the Today Show. That was number 2. I was like, felt good about that. Struggled a little bit trying to figure out. And then I was like, ooh, I grew my social media following. And I just felt like, I have to do a better job of celebrating, not only celebrating, but so this is what the best advice ever. Document and celebrate your wins. So I need to do a better job of documenting. Clearly, I've done a number of things that would qualify to make that list. I lost 20 pounds. That I couldn't think of that in the time, but I was probably more business oriented. What happened in my business that I felt like, oh man, that's a great accomplishment. That's something that I feel proud about. Whether how many, I think we've hit a number of downloads. I don't think it's the types of numbers where people come a knocking, but there's been some consistency in that. So I would encourage you, as I am encouraging myself, to make sure that as we go through 2024, that you're documenting your wins and that you celebrate them. That you toast yourself. You give yourself by that bag that you've been looking at for a few weeks. Go to that restaurant, treat yourself. Do things that will celebrate the wins. What we've learned, and I've learned specifically in my life, is the journey. It's very seldom the destination. The journey is when you're having that's life. Life is the journey. Life is going through and enjoying the process, embracing the process, trusting the process, but celebrating. I'm a big sports fan, man. Big sports fan. My whole family. We really enjoy sports. And again, I'm a South Carolina Gamecock. And I really like the way, I was telling my wife this recently, how Dawn Staley talks about respecting the game and the way that her team plays and in the manner in which they conduct their business. Again, I'm old school, grew up playing pickup basketball. Like, basketball is my favorite sport, hands down. I watch football just enough to fit in at a cocktail party, but I can't tell you the NFC leader in rushing. I can't tell you who's leading passing. I can tell you who's in the Super Bowl. I can possibly tell you their coaches. I don't know who coaches. San Francisco, Shanahan sounds kind of right. I know my man Andy Reid coaches the Chiefs. I know that. I got Mahomes and Travis Kelce. The little dude running back, I think his name is like something like Pocahontas. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Panache, Poncier. I don't, I know it's something with a P. I suspect. I can't tell you the offensive line leader. Can't tell you the center. I can't tell you the coaches. About that ball, man, that basketball, and specifically probably college. more than the NBA. I really haven't been dialed into the NBA recently, and not because they're scoring 200 points a game or any of those reasons. I just haven't been pulled and has been you have used that to kind of decompress. I'm looking at probably a little bit more on Netflix and some of my streaming services, right? But the point I was making is that I respect how Dawn Staley teams play. They hit a big shot. You know what I'm saying? They do the little arrow shoot. I respect people pointing at the ice in their vein or a little subtle celebration, but you don't have to. Every point you make, you got to do some kind of thing. Man, let's get back on defense. If you just score on a regular point, just get back on defense. You hit a layup, make your layup and get back on defense. That's the elk I'm out of. And I'll talk trash. I'll talk a little trash. I'll get it. I'll get animated. I get a little. I'm a little. I turn the page on some rah-rah type stuff, but in general, I keep it pretty mellow, man. I keep it pretty professional. And I think that in the context of business, man, have your moments. Enjoy the wins, man. Not the win, not layup. Like if you hit a layup, that's fine, but let's enjoy it in the locker room. Once you secured the win, once I secure the win, once I get back to the room, once I, have a couple of day getaway, whatever the case may be, after a show. I mean, I'm doing these matinee situations now, so I can have, I'm going to be in Kansas City, and the club asked that I want to feature for the headliner for the night shows. There was probably 7 and a 9, and I'm like, nah. I'm gonna do my show. I'm gonna get my stuff together. I'm gonna go have a great meal. Go enjoy my evening. There might be some games on later that night. I'm not gonna go work, then work. I'm gonna enjoy that night. Then I'm gonna go get a good night's rest. Then I'm headed back to the airport, right? And that's how I would encourage you to do. And as it relates to your business, man, celebrate your wins. Document them. Have them somewhere where you can go back and look at them. Don't look at them at the end of the year. Let them be the wind beneath your sails, the wind beneath your wings to help you get to the next stage of business. And that's the best advice ever. The Mind of Mike is the next segment. I typically, this stuff I've been thinking about. I just, like I was just saying, I'm a big sports fan. I drove my office from my house. I would suspect it's no more than 10 minutes. It's about a 10-minute drive. Normal circumstance. Now, if you leave when folks are going to school, or it's a Saturday and people on the side of town, or it's Christmas time, something like that, it may take a little longer. But typically, I can get from my house to the office somewhere between 7 to 10 minutes, right? So I turn on the radio. This is why I'm so aggravated with sports now. My radio set on the sports radio station in town. It's the home of the Gamecocks. What they advertise themselves as. I get in the car, and there's guys talking clearly about the NFL. Now, we don't have an NFL, so it's the home of the Gamecocks, and we don't have an NFL team. We don't have an NFL team in South Carolina. But this guy is talking about Bill Belichick for 6 minutes of the drive. Yeah, let's say it's 10-minute drive this morning. 6 of the minutes was Bill Belichick. Now, we have an undefeated women's basketball team. But this week, we have a game against the South Carolina. The boys have the men have a game against number 5, number 6 Tennessee, top 10 team. They talking about Bill Belichick, who's not even quote unquote in the league right now. That's why I get so frustrated, man. I got frustrated. I was just like, it's so many. I could even take up talking about South Carolina football. But why are we talking about Bill? We in South Carolina, Columbia. Why is Bill Belichick the conversation this morning? But that's sports radio, man. That's why I don't listen in often. That's why I'm playing music, listening to podcasts. It's like, yo, hit me with some information that I care about related to the sports that are in the state, in the city I live in. That's what I'm thinking about in my mind. The other thing I thought about, I was reading the Success magazine this month. Check it out. It's highlighting phenomenal women. And I was reading, I meant to bring it because I saw it just sent a red flag off for me. There was this paragraph, and the woman was basically saying that the people that they were profiling in the magazine seamlessly weave their personal and professional lives together. And I just thought that that's just a bunch of crap, right? Sorry if you got kids in the car. There's no seamlessness to how you do business at any level. It's not seamless. It looks seamless when we present it out to the public, but it's a lot of disjointedness in building a business, having a successful family, taking care of your health. Like nothing, I say nothing, but things aren't seamless. And the fact that word was just sitting right there in that article just felt like, man, that's not real. That's just I don't think people would say I'll use myself for example. Mike, how was it to leave Heathwood Hall and to go into comedy? Oh, it was a seamless transition. No, it wasn't. The transition full of seams. And I think the more we talk about those things, we help other people make the transition, not seamlessly, but efficiently and successfully. But seamlessly seems like this unrealistic expectation for things. Oh, it's just a seamless transition. No, it's not. That jump was hard, very difficult. There were certain days I didn't know if I was going to make it, right? I think that's the stuff that people want to hear as it relates to success. They don't want to hear, oh, this is seamless. The way that my wife and I integrate our family and our business is seamless. No, it's not. It's a hot mess. We make it work, right? So that's something that I had on my mind. And last but not least, what you're not going to do. What you're not going to do is not let people know I'm coming to Kansas City, babe. I'm coming on this upcoming Saturday, Big Dad Energy Tour, Kansas City, Funny Bone. Have your face in the place. What you're not going to do, I'm seeing this now. We're posting online, like the calendar, and people are like, when are you coming to Raleigh, North Carolina? I was just in Raleigh in November. Hey, when are you coming to Columbia? I was just in Columbia in November. Where were you? Hey, when are you coming to Charlotte? I was just in Charlotte in September. But I'm not angry. I'm not upset. But what you're not going to do is ask me for cities that I've been there. We done that. Like we going to these other cities. We're going to Richmond, Virginia Beach, Toledo, Marietta. Come on, people. Get with the program. And also, this kind of struck me. I was talking to my cousin recently, and we were talking about one of the presenters at the conference said, people get up and talk about their dream job. And it's like, nobody dreamed about labor. Like, why you even create that term, dream job? I would say I'm doing a dream job, but this ain't it don't feel like no dream. Dream job, a labor. Nobody's visualizing, nobody's falling asleep with the idea of, oh my goodness, I'm gonna work until my last days. My buddy was talking about, my cousin was talking about at his job, you see people and they'll be like, hey man, how you doing? I'm living the dream. This is another day of paradise. And my cousin like, hey man, is that a cry for help? Because you can't tell me coming to work every day is paradise. Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy your work, because I enjoy my work. Couldn't imagine doing anything else. I made a great decision. I have a very blessed life. But this idea of I'm living the dream, you need to dream a little big. If you live in the dream, you got some small dreams, buddy. Even me, like I'm saying, I'm living the dream. Like my dream is to be, if I'm a dream, I'm a dream. Let me be a blockbuster movie star. Let me sell out venues in 15 minutes once the tickets drop. That's living the dream. I'm a good living. I got a good living. So what you're not going to do, and maybe you're speaking in faith, maybe you're speaking those things that be not as though they were. And I feel you on that. I can get down with that. Living the dream. Well, I'm living the dream, finishing podcast episodes with you that you can enjoy. And I thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. It's your boy. You know, we're going to do this again next week. Same bat channel, same back base. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And you know what? I appreciate that. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.